Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us for the State of Diversity Address. My name is Brandi Douglas. I use she, they pronouns. I'm the Assistant Director of Outreach in the Office of Institutional Diversity. And today we're talking with two student organizers with Here to Stay, and we'll let them explain what Here to Stay is. And we're going to start with Carla.
Hey y'all, my name is Carla Medel.
Oh, no video.
It says fail to start video camera. Please select another video camera in settings. No, my goodness.
Okay, I'm gonna pause recording. Hi everyone, my name is Brandi Douglas. I use she, they pronouns, and I'm with the Office of Institutional Diversity. I'm the Assistant Director of Outreach, and this is our wonderful conversation during the State of Diversity with Here to Stay. I have two wonderful students from that organization who are going to introduce themselves, starting with Carla.
Hi everybody, my name is Carla Medel. I am a fourth year undergrad student at OSU, majoring in psychology with 2 minors in Spanish and HDFS. My pronouns are she, her, hers, and I'm the Here to Stay president.
María.
Hi everyone, I'm María Lachino Sonato. My pronouns are they, she. I'm a fourth year undergrad studying chemistry with minors in math and Spanish. And I'm this year's Here to Stay secretary.
Oh, with all these minors. Well, let's talk a little bit about Here to Stay. If we could just get like a quick overview for folks who have not heard of Here to Stay, who you all are and what your organization is about, and either one of you can share.
So Here to Stay has officially been on campus at OSU for 4 years. So Maria and myself are two of the folks that will be like the first cohort to like start Here to Stay and graduate Here to Stay, which is really nice. But Here to Stay is just a student-led club that advocates for students on campus and within the community who have varying immigration statuses, but we have focused a lot specifically on DACA, undocumented, and mixed status family students. And then we've also just been working on trying to create community on campus.
Thank you. And Maria, is there anything you want to add to that? Or?
I guess the only thing that I would add is that I guess we do that through like either programming or also like fundraising. We currently have collaboration with the Corvallis Multicultural Literacy Center, I think it is, and where we fundraise a lot, like restaurant fundraisers and different other fundraisers, to be able to like have folks apply for those funds so they can use for immigration processing fees, since they are so expensive. And also like prices are increasing and the cycle of renewing those whatevers are like shortening.
Yeah. That's great to, I don't think I fully knew that about the fundraising piece. And I think that's a great way to talk about this next question around fundraising. And during a pandemic, how has that been? I don't think it's been easy. So what has been the challenges of continuing to do your work, specifically around fundraising and programming during the pandemic?
I think when I think about Here to Stay, I kind of always say like it's not necessarily like a fun club, because we're dealing with difficult things that go on around the world. But having each other in community in person kind of makes it fun, because after our work meeting, we can just talk and like let loose. And now that everything's just been virtual, it's so different, and it's been more difficult to have like a sense of community. So it's kind of been difficult for Here to Stay to get newer members onboarded in the club. but we have had quite a bit of help from our community members. So like fundraising, there's been, this year we've mostly fundraised with local restaurants that have been really supporting Here to Stay, and they've even like been like, you know, we really like think your guys' work is important. We're gonna put, I don't know, $100 more or $50 more, and things like that has been really nice to see that folks are going out of their way to help us even in difficult times.
No, that's really amazing. I would assume that the fundraising would be difficult, but it doesn't sound like that's a difficult piece of the building community piece. Have you all, other than I'm assuming Zoom, are there other ways that you all have tried to continue to build community during the pandemic?
Do you want to talk about that, Maria? Or...
Yeah, I mean, I can talk about, we've also done like collaboration events with other folks and other programming. Like the one that comes to mind is that we did a, I think it was a paint night back in fall with the Centro, and also like in collaboration with the Craft Center. And I think that was fun. That was pretty fun, even though it was through Zoom, it kind of had like an interactive part of it. And I guess like in my experience, those events with kind of those interactive parts also make it more easier to create community because you're engaging with the content and like the programming itself. And yeah, yeah, that's all I can think of. But we're also going to be kind of trying to put up posters and flyers about getting the word out for undocumented folks to get vaccinated in English, Spanish, and I think Mandarin. And we're kind of working on getting more languages for that to be more accessible for other folks. But yeah, we're going to be doing that pretty soon around Corvallis and nearby cities.
Oh, that's really great. That's awesome. Have there, you know, we talked a little bit about the challenges of building community. Has that been the only challenge, or what other challenges have come up, if any? And you know, how to keep your club running?
I think that building community has definitely been like the number one challenge this year, but closely following it is that I feel like Here to Stay has always kind of been advocating for something, like some sort of legislature in our counties and in the state or on campus. And we're always like out and about doing stuff. And this year we just haven't done it. And around elections, I was like, what can we do? How can we do something virtually? And so what we did around the elections was just like share stuff on social media. But other than that, like for advocating for things of that sort, the only other thing that we did is like with ASOSU legal services, we got that expanded this year, which was a big accomplishment. But it was just so different not being out and about actually advocating for it and advocating for it this way. It was something new, definitely.
Do you think that's something you would take with you when we come back in person? It sounds like that while it was a difficult shift, it was a shift that still had a successful ending, right? And so what are those things or those aspects that you've learned during the pandemic that you're hoping to take with you when we come back in person next fall? Or have you thought that one?
I think for me, kind of something that everybody mentions it's a positive is that we were able to connect with people outside of just OSU or just outside of Corvallis. And for us, we've been able to connect with ICS, which is out of Portland. Next week, we're actually going to be having an event in collaboration with them and a undocumented support group at U of O and an undocumented support group at Portland Community College. And so before, when everything was in person, we wouldn't be able to have all these people together, or it'd be a lot more difficult to plan. And so I kind of like that, and I hope that folks keep that coming, like have people from all over joining us.
Right. You, Maria, anything that you're hoping that the club continues next year? I know both of you are graduating, and so there's some legacy pieces as well, right? But is there anything you're hoping continues next fall?
I mean, there's a lot that I think that we learned throughout this pandemic and throughout being in quarantine and being virtual that I think we can take into like moving forward and not going back to the norm. Um, I guess one thing, I don't know, actually. Um, I don't know, because I feel like at least like the club right now, most of us are graduating and only like a couple are still gonna continue at OSU. So I guess my fear is that like um there won't be like that much engagement with Here to Stay. And I guess maybe like my hope is that like the momentum continues of like creating change and advocating for these communities. And like, I don't know, for students to find that momentum and find that passion, since I think that, you know, when you come to university, you don't know what to expect, or like you think it's only like academics, but it's more than that. And I guess especially like as a first generation, like I didn't know what was going to happen at university, and I kind of like stumbled upon Here to Stay, and this is kind of like what helped me a lot during university. So yeah, so I guess like continuing the momentum, and that maybe even more when we're back in person, that momentum can like grow even more since we'll have better access to stuff and stuff like that.
Yeah, you get to see faces again. It's like seeing faces like this is one thing, but seeing faces in person is like it's like this weird treat that you didn't know you felt like you lost. Well, I do feel like the work you've done in the last 4 years has been monumental, and I share that hope that you have, Maria, of Here to Stay, continuing that momentum and moving forward with the students who will be there, and that I feel like that motivation will come when you get to see faces again. So I'm sending that to you all, and thank you so much for just spending a little time with me. I know we've talked, gosh, was that winter term? Yeah, winter term, about Here to Stay. And so I'm thankful that we wanted to highlight the amazing work that you've done over the past year. So